everyone, it's Shell from Scrap Secrets and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is the process video for my Instagram submission for the hashtag Autoimmunity Awareness Hop 21, organized by my friend Terra O'Brien. We created this card in honor of Terra, and I'm going to walk you through how I created it. First thing that I did was I took a piece of 110-pound cardstock from Michaels and cut it down to 4 by 5 1/4. Took a piece of washi tape that I took some of the sticky off of and placed it in almost the middle of the card, and then inked up the bottom with some Mermaid, Lagoon, and Salty Ocean. I wanted to make the bottom look like ocean or water, and then the top to almost look like a sunset. And the reason that I chose the colors are orange is for multiple sclerosis, and blue is for diabetes. And those are two of the autoimmune diseases that Terra has. So I thought that I would make a card in honor of her. Well, once I finish doing the water, I actually spray it with a water bottle to get that little droplet look. I think that it just gives it a little bit of texture and dimension, just added a little something to the background. After that's done, I take that piece of washi tape and place it slightly below the blue line, that like horizon line. If you place it right up against the line, you will get a little bit of kind of like a halo, a little bit of a white line, and I don't want that. I want the colors to, I want it to look like when you look out at the horizon and you see the sea meet the sky. So we're using 3 colors of Distress Oxide and Orange. We're using ripe persimmon, carved pumpkin, and spiced marmalade to create that top. So after I finish that, I am going to heat set this off camera because Distress Oxides take a long time to dry. They're a hybrid ink, so they are a hybrid between a pigment and a dye ink. And so one of the properties of pigment inks is that it stays wetter longer. So there you go. You can see that sky and the water, and you can see the mistake on the right, but don't worry, we'll fix that. Everything is basically fixable. Again, I heat set it off camera. And then I took the Honeybee stamp set, which I believe is called Anchors the Soul. And there's 3 stamp sets in there or 3 stamps in that set that I decided to use. 2 sentiments and then that big anchor. I love the way that anchor came out. So the bottom sentiment actually has a little bit of a gap between the first and second line. I thought that the horizon would look perfect going through it. And then I loved the arch over top of the anchor. So now I'm using some Versafine Black ink to ink up those sentiments. I did stamp them down twice, and then off camera I heat set them because, again, this is a ink that stays wet a little bit longer. I didn't heat set them well enough though. There was still a little bit of powder that stuck to it, but in the end you won't really be able to tell. Took a piece of washi tape and cut it to just a little bit thicker than the thickness of that bottom sentiment because I wanted the anchor to be going through the sentiment, or the sentiment to be going through the anchor. If I had to do this over again, I would cut the washi tape a little bit closer to the bottom because I think that there's too much of a gap, but maybe that's just my perfectionism coming out. Oh, I did stamp this twice because it's hard to tell with Versamark ink if you've actually stamped it down. So I just made sure that I got a good impression on that. And then we're going to take some Martha Stewart Dove white embossing powder and shake it on there after I take the washi tape off of there. I didn't want to keep the washi tape on because it probably would have stuck underneath of it and then it would have created a mess. I'm just shaking that on, and then I have a piece of scratch paper underneath just so that I can catch all that embossing powder and then put it back on and put it back into the bottle. I'm going to take a dry paintbrush and scrape off some of those areas that the embossing powder may have stuck to. There might be a little bit of static on it, but you just want to take off as much as you can before you heat emboss because it will heat emboss any stray powder into your paper. Now you can see I'm using my Wagner heat tool to heat up the embossing powder, and I love the way this is. You can see on the right hand side it's not heat embossed, and the left it was. And you can just see that magic happening. I love embossing. Next thing I did was I took a piece of black cardstock that's 1/8 of an inch larger than the panel that we were just working on, used my ATG until it ran out to put tape on the back of it, and then just used that Honeybee creative glue. I like to use ATG when I do anything that has warped, so any watercolor cardstock, any embossing. I just think that it helps keep that paper together, whatever you're gluing it to. Now we're gluing it down to a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card base, so there's going to be a very tiny white border around it. And I thought I was done, and then I went into my stash and I found some Trinity jewels, as well as some of these like citrine jewels. So I'm just taking that Be Creative glue and putting some dots down and putting the sequins down. This is the Marvy jewel picker that I got from Candace's Favorite Things that I won from her hop, and I'm loving it. I had a problem with one of the jewels, but it was me. It was not the jewel, and it wasn't the jewel picker. It was 100% me. So I did fix that. I went and glued them all in place, and that is the end of the project. Thank you guys so much for hopping along with us. Please click on the hashtag in the video description and you'll be able to see everybody who has participated in the hop. Please comment, like, and subscribe onto their channels so that you have more chances to win. Also, this is not my official entry. The video before this will be my official entry for a chance to win the prize pack that I'm giving away. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you again real soon for another video. Bye!